excellent day for an exorcism.
Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast.
I'm John. Fuck capitalism!
I'm Lindsay, trying to write horror novels because I was a weird kid. M. The whole world is your urinal.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
Hello and welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. I'm John.
I'm Lindsay. I'm M.
And we're going to talk about Child's Play 3. And we're not going to talk about another Child's Play anymore. Because I've had it. And I'm in charge of this ship. So,
Sure you are.
Em, you didn't watch this one because you're smart.
I'm protesting Chucky.
Lindsay, do you have history with part 3?
I do not. This was actually my first time watching the third one.
Same. I saw the beginning of this one, and that's it. So, yeah. Good. First and last time. This was made in 91, so 1 year after the other one. But Andy has aged 6 years. He's played by a different actor. They couldn't get anybody for this movie, it looked like. I recognized one person.
Who did you recognize?
The barber.
Oh, who was that?
Andrew Robinson. He's in Hellraiser, and he's in Dirty Harry as the Gemini killer or the something killer. I don't know. He's the main villain in Dirty Harry. Which, by the way, all cops are bastards. That is an official stance of this show. So Dirty Harry can fuck off.
The barber was a weird character.
Very weird.
Definitely.
Like, he fetishized cutting kids' hair
Yeah,
and
that
keeping
was weird.
it on his wall. And then he'd be like, presto, you're bald. But none of them were bald. None of them were bald.
I'm like, that's not bald.
You know how the last time we were like, why the hell are they making these dolls anymore? This is dumb. And then we were like, why'd they just use the old one? Why didn't they just make a new one?
Yeah.
Well, this time it's the same goddamn thing. So it opens up with the toy factory from part 2 has been shut down. There's cobwebs everywhere, and there's doll parts all over the place.
Right.
And Chucky's melted shit is on the floor.
Ew.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, remember the dude who got the eyeball thing? Did
Yeah.
they just leave him there? Did they walk in and find a skeleton? Did nobody show up for work the next day?
I mean, you would think they would go and get the body and everything. They wouldn't just, like, leave him in there. But whoever knows.
I have no idea. But they start clearing out everything. The plastic is still hot,
Right.
I guess, in the little vat. So they pick up Chucky's body with these clamps, and they poke in the side of him, which causes him to bleed. Then they carry the bleeding stuff over top the plastic, and we're sent on the worst acid trip ever. Which is just plastic going up and down like in one of those like lamps. Those, what are they called?
Lava lamp.
Lava lamps. It looks like a lava lamp, and there's like blood and plastic mixing together, and then it makes his face. And again, if they want to make a new good guy doll, right?
Yeah, there's just no reason they need to recycle this one that bleeds and everything.
They have parts and pieces all over the place. They could
Right.
easily just pop, 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 pop. There you go.
Like, I can't imagine it's so expensive that they must recycle this old one over and over again like that. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, no, just absolutely no sense. So, not only does that not make sense, but then when they start talking about bringing back the good guy doll,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, everyone in America hates us. They all think we're evil. This kid and his family sued us to the moon. And the guy who runs the place is like, well, kids are miniature consumers. So, fuck you, basically.
Right.
And everybody's like, yeah, fuck you!
And the doll was like their bestseller ever, right? So
Right.
they thought, like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
people still want
money's
these.
more important.
Yeah. It's been 4 years since it came out, and they're still running the same fucking commercials for him, too.
Right.
So, I thought the guy who was like, maybe we shouldn't do this, I thought he looked like Ebert.
Oh,
And I was
can
like,
see that.
in my brain it was Ebert being like, we don't need
yeah. Another
Child's Play. Anyway, some nerd who looks like the nerd who died in part 2. Like, it's almost like they took the same characters and just put them, like, from the beginning of 2, they moved them to part 3, but this time the evil CEO does die.
Right, yeah.
Which, good on there. 1 point for this movie for killing the evil CEO. Who, they give him the first doll. And again, this guy's like super loaded, super rich. His house is just filled with toys. Fucking train sets and police cars and...
Any kids?
No, he's like, he just turns on the TV, he watches the stock market.
Yeah.
And man, of all the kills in this series, this one makes me the happiest.
Yeah.
Because fuck capitalism. He gets choked with a yo-yo. And that's when Chucky says, "Don't fuck with the Chuck." Who's fucking with you, Chuck? Like,
right, yeah, because this guy was trying to help you, actually, in a way.
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna bring you back to life. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, and then he has that line, "Oh, nothing like a good strangulation to get the circulation flowing," or something.
Yep. And he does this little Chucky walk across the guy's back. Every time they show his feet, I just think of how awesome it must be for you.
That makes me.
Yep. And then it's 1991, and they thought the internet works like what you do is you type in someone's name and it gives you all of their information. It's not attached to the internet, it's just this toy company guy has all of the information on Andy Barclay. Where he is, how old he is.
Does he know anything about Andy Barclay?
He doesn't, the computer does.
Oh.
It knows everything.
How does he even know Andy's name?
I don't know. Like, computers don't work like this in 1991.
Yeah.
But it's literally him with his little plastic fingers just being like, clack, 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 and it's like Andy Barclay, military school. Alright. How the fuck he mails himself.
Yep. And then that other kid gets
He
it in
mails
first.
himself?
How does he get into the box and wrap it with the
So much
paper
logic.
and somehow he sends himself in a box to Andy.
Like an old frat prank.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
From like the 60s. Sorry.
So, Andy's getting chewed out by the guy who runs the military school because he's a troublemaker because no foster home will take him. Huh? What are military schools like?
Like for kids that age?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know somebody who went to even like a junior college that was like military style, and it's not like they're teaching them to be soldiers. It's just like how the school is set up. Like, it's very regimented. Everything is at a certain time. Your bed has to be made. You have to wear the same, shirt and tie. You have to be in bed at a certain time. You have to pass an inspection. You have to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like military. It's just the style. It's not actually. I don't want to say style.
Do they like march? Do they like show them how to use
I'm sure they do like a line. I think they do like a lineup in the morning and stuff like that. But yeah, like kids, there's no firearms as far as I know.
There's a lot of firearms here.
Yeah.
You said something about paintball guns?
That happens later, but yeah. At one point they're on a shooting range. And
yeah, that seems really smart. Like, all these kids that are, like, so bad that they're sent to military school and then they give them firearms.
And there's no supervision there. They're all just, like, walking back and forth talking to each other with these guns.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, if you're under 18, like, you have to have a parent with you in order to
This reminds me of Maury
shoot a
Povich
gun.
boot camp.
I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
Are you too familiar with that?
What?
The parents would bring their kids onto Maury Povich and he'd be like, I got a solution. We'll send you to boot camp.
Even that's not real. Shit.
And there's also, like, a little kid. What is his name? Tyler.
Okay, yeah.
Tyler is the main character of this movie. He's like 8. He's like the new Andy. He is told to bring Andy the package that Chucky sent him, but he's wanted a good guy doll forever. So when he trips down the stairs and it rips, he sees it's a good guy doll, and he's like, oh, hey! Put that down!
Eating a Dorito! Leave me alone! Sorry.
I'm not putting any context to that, but it's staying in. He goes and opens it up because he's really excited. It's a good guy doll. He's always wanted a good guy doll. And Chucky just jumps right out of the package, and he's like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm Tyler. He's like, oh, fuck, goddamn. But then he says something really racist at some point.
Just think, Chucky's gonna be a bro.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna put him in there and not make you the one
Thank
that
you,
said
I
it.
appreciate that.
Because, ugh, it's cringy.
I know.
So, is Chucky still looking for Andy to get into his body?
Well, he thought so.
At first.
Even though in part 2 he said, I can't do it, it's too late. But he just offhandedly says, wait, I'm in a new body, and I talked to this kid first now, so I guess that means I get to go into him now. He's just making up the rules.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the name of the doctor? Dr. Death? Doctor from
Dr.
part 1?
Death. I think that was that,
Oh,
right?
Voodoo Joe.
Voodoo Joe told him it's just this one time. But no, he's making up his own rules now.
I mean, isn't the whole series
Yeah,
just...
pretty much.
Any horror movie that goes on for this long, don't they just make up their own rules as they go along?
Right.
Curse of Chucky has like 8 Chuckies running around, and they all have different rules to them.
Huh.
All of them. Don't.
They're
Which
all
number
part
is that?
of like Charles Lee
7.
Ray. Like they're all like parts of
I
him.
think
or...
some of them like talk like the regular good guy dolls.
Huh.
It's dumb and weird. Tyler and Chucky are gonna be friends. And Tyler keeps telling him to stop swearing so much, which I think is really funny, actually. The general catches him with the doll, takes the doll away, throws him in the trash, right? So, the garbage man comes, and I was telling her that the worst kinds of horror movies are ones where they can't establish a plot, they can't establish good writing, the character development is like really weak, and all it is just filler to go from murder set piece to murder set piece to murder set piece. That's what this feels like.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't give a shit about any of these people.
No.
But then, we're all
I mean,
of a sudden...
I didn't really want little Tyler to die.
No, I didn't want him to die. I didn't want Andy to die.
Well, no, of course not.
I wanted the haircut guy. Actually, you know what? Everybody I wanted to die did die in this one.
Yeah.
So, cool. Kudos. Another point for this movie for that.
Oh, did they just go up one?
Yeah.
In your rating system?
So, the garbage man dies, though, and he doesn't need to die. He's a nice guy. But he is stupid. Because he's like, someone's trapped in the garbage truck. I'm gonna leave it running.
Right, and go right in
and go
there.
inside. So Chucky crawls out and crushes him. And they don't shut the school down. You know, just keep doing your thing.
Right.
There's like that thing was obviously turned on by somebody. And the garbage man is dead. And they're like, get him out of here then.
Yeah.
Just like the guy at the factory.
Basically, yeah. They're like, or they're like, just leave him there for 10 years.
Another dead guy. Alright.
Well, I mean, he won't stink too bad. It's just, he's in garbage. It's all gonna smell the same.
True.
So, there's also this guy who runs, he's like a kid who's like a leader person who's just
I
yelling.
did not like that guy.
No. I still don't think he should have got what he got at the end.
Right.
That made me feel bad. But he's like a 17-year-old kid yelling at the other kids. Like, the guy who runs the camp put him in charge of the kids.
Okay.
So he's yelling at Andy, just because Andy's new. No reason other than that. And there's another girl named... De Silva is this, like, she's trying to get out. It's kind of like Klinger from MASH. Does anybody know MASH?
I've
Yeah.
never actually watched it.
You know how Klinger was, like, always dressing up, trying to get out of there?
Now, I realize how badly you want out of the Army.
Yes, sir.
But it's my considered opinion that no one's going to believe that you're pregnant.
That's what she's doing. She's, like, being an asshole to everybody, so they'll throw her out. But it isn't working.
Okay.
She's also fucking tougher than everybody in the fucking place, too. So, girl power.
Badass.
Fuck the patriarchy. So, she tells off the drill sergeant guy and has to do one-handed push-ups. Which, damn. But she likes Andy because, you know,
Different.
he's just a different new guy, basically, I think is what's going on. So I was curious. She looked like an adult. And
Listen.
Andy is very clearly not an adult, so I looked up the ages, and when this movie was made, she was 21, he was 17. They kiss.
Yeah.
It was the 90s.
Yeah, that happened all the time back
Yeah.
then.
That's true. First of all, they don't like each other the whole movie, and they just kiss because that's what you do in a movie. You really didn't need that, especially considering the age gap.
Sex sells, Morty. Sex sells what?
Movie.
Okay, so now things get, like, kind of confusing, and they go in circles a lot. Chucky goes after Andy. Andy beats the living shit out of him. And also, he swipes at Andy's foot
Right, when he's on the bed there.
and
he's-
misses, I guess.
I thought he got him because, I mean, that's how he knew that he was under there. He felt something there. I thought he, like, slit the back of his
Yeah, so-
ankle a little bit.
At that point, I'm like, does he have a toy knife? Does he have one of the good guy knives again? But no, because at one point in the movie, he's got a knife that's, like, this fucking big. And I'm like, what?
Well, he got that from that other guy's, like, room. Because he had all those knives and one of them was missing.
Right. I need to watch harder. The drill sergeant kid takes the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andy breaks into his room and tries to get the doll back. And Chucky takes off. He does his little get her out of the room. And they all have to march around. Right?
Right, yeah.
In the middle of the night.
As, like, punishment for him.
Yeah. Somehow, the guy who runs the place... Wait. The next morning, right, they have breakfast. Nope! Wrong. Man, I'm so bad at this. I can't believe I still have a show after 8 years of doing this. It all sounds right to me. Yeah, you're like, this sounds great. Keep going. Okay, so somehow the guy who runs the place gets Chucky, throws him in the garbage.
Right.
He looks back. Chucky's out of the garbage. He clearly is, like, petrified right then.
Yeah.
Then Chucky just comes out screaming, and the guy starts, like, clutching his chest and falls over dead.
And Chucky's so disappointed that he didn't get to murder him.
He's like, "You gotta be kidding me."
Oh.
So again, this is in 1 day span. A garbage man has died, and this guy has had a mysterious heart attack, and just shit's getting weird. And you would think they'd be like, "We need to."
So is the place crawling with cops and fire trucks and police and ambulances?
There's the two people who take the bodies out. That's
two people.
Two people
Triple
coming.
murder. How many murders? Sorry.
So far, two, but the one guy had a heart attack, so technically one.
Nah, all right.
So, the next morning, they have breakfast and they have like a moment of silence for the general or whatever. And
the trash guy.
No, he's not. He doesn't matter. He's still out back if you want to see him.
In the dumpster.
Yeah. They were like, "Well, who's going to take this trash out now? Oh, damn it." Andy goes and talks to Tyler, and he's like, "Chucky's not cool, dude. He's fucking terrible." And Tyler's like, "You're just jealous." So Andy's like, he just gives him a knife. He's like, "Here, just take this."
When did Andy first see Chucky?
General had him and was carrying him in the middle of the day.
Yeah, just past when they were out.
Him, yeah.
And Andy didn't freak the fuck out? Like,
he dropped
he dropped his rifle and got in trouble for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and they pulled the whole thing from, what's that Stanley Kubrick war movie? You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that movie, they stole it from that movie. The Kubrick war movie that everyone is screaming, all 5 of you are screaming at the computer right now.
This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fun, and this is for fun.
God, I hate this movie.
I'm moving D'Onofrio, by the way.
He's good in that. He's real good.
I like him.
He's like, "I don't want to be in basic training. I'm gonna fucking shoot everybody." Good for you, sir. So now the barber is also going from person to person and threatening them to cut their hair and how terrible a person they are for not cutting their hair.
You need a little trim?
Yeah. "Wednesday, Tuesday in my office, we're gonna cut that hair, you little shit." And then he got the one kid, Whitehouse or Whitehurst or Millhouse, I don't know, whatever his name is. They got him to go in there, and he's like cutting his hair. And he says something about how you're pathetic and shouldn't even be in the army. And I'm like, he's 16! He's not in the army, you dumb shit! And then he buzzes his ear, because he's a dick. And Chucky's in there. And he starts being all sadistic with the Chucky doll. He's like, "I'm gonna cut your hair next. That's not regulation hair."
I thought you said statistic with the Chucky doll.
Oh, sadistic, sorry. Starts reading off
There's
numbers.
There's an 80% chance that I'm gonna cut your hair.
So he throws Chucky in the thing, and he's like, he's moving in all like, So Chucky cuts his throat and says,
Presto, you're dead.
Is that why he said "Presto, you're bald" to all the kids so they could have that one-liner?
Must have been.
It sucked.
And they weren't even bald.
No, they weren't bald. "Presto, you have less hair than you did."
Yeah.
Like, they let Andy keep his full head of hair. They just cut like a little bit, and he's got like this really cool looking... Anyway, then Millhouse walks in and sees the dead general guy, or the dead haircut guy, and Chucky's standing there. And he's like, "Boo."
Yeah, and then he just runs.
He just runs. Now, what I don't understand is from this point forward, why does he not say anything?
I know, I was wondering that too.
Like, Andy is like, did you see Chucky? He's like, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you shit.
What?
I don't know why. He's like, I don't tell you anything. And they're like, dude, I need you. Look, everyone's dying. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know if he was afraid that if he told Chucky would get him. I don't know.
I have no idea. Chucky let him go.
Yeah.
Just let him walk away.
I know, it was weird.
Could be a trauma response.
That could be. He did see a dead body there, but I would think.
Seems like the kind of movie that would get into that deep psychological issue.
Oh, yeah. Well, he came back in and that guy who was harassing him was dead. You'd think he'd be like, cool. Maybe that's, he's like, I'm not going to tell on you, dude. You did me a favor. Thank you.
Maybe.
So, they're all getting ready for some war games thing. And this is when I lost my mind. They're standing there, they got these blue and red things on, and this guy's like, the general would have wanted us to continue on with these war games. With fucking real guns that we put paintballs in instead of just using paintball guns. Also, we left all of the guns next to live ammunition, unwatched in the back unlocked room. We're all going to get our guns right now, but wait, we need to give Chucky enough time to put one bullet in each gun.
Right.
Because when you walk out, you should always have bullets in your guns in a crowded room together. Why the bullets are not handed to the kids, I don't know. Why? Just why? I'm sorry, there's so many. Like, how long did it take them to go get the guns? Did they check the guns? Did they see all of the red paintballs laying on the floor? Because Chucky's just, like, throwing them on the floor. Did they go, some of the live ammunition is missing? Did they do any of this? No. And that's probably why now there aren't guns at kids. Because Child's Play 3 was actually like, it was a thing to warn military schools don't give kids guns. That's what this was about. So it's just a game to capture the flag.
Or shove actual ammunition into paintball guns. Wait, were they real guns with paintballs in them?
They were like little shells with paint. That's how,
The guns were like real.
They were real fucking guns.
So where were the paintballs?
They were like, they looked like shells, but they had tips that were colors. And the guy shot a door with one to show what the colors looked like. Coming out of a gun like that, I'm going to show my redneck here a little bit. Sorry, guys. Coming out of a gun like that paintball would kill you.
Well, and paintballs are quite small.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this wasn't like a normal paintball. I've seen those and I've played with them and I've been hit by them and they hurt, but they're not going to kill you. Chucky only gives the red team live ammunition. So, they're out telling ghost stories instead of playing Capture the Flag. I don't understand what's going on here at all. But, first of all, Andy sneaks right into the red camp. So, it can't be that difficult to get the flag, because he just walks in with a flashlight. But, Chucky, meanwhile, has met up with Tyler, and they're gonna go play Capture the Soul?
Hide the Soul?
Hide the Soul. Right.
And
Which when that guy comes in and finds Tyler there with Chucky, and he's like, we were playing Hide the Soul. Like, he doesn't even act like that's anything weird to hear a little kid saying, we're playing Hide the Soul.
De Silva and Andy wander off, and there's a fair, carnival fair going on. And I feel like there was a fight after Child's Play 2, where they were like, how about Chucky goes to the fair? No, he goes to army school. No! And then somebody's like, why don't we do both?
I know, I thought it seemed so random. Like, suddenly they're at a carnival.
Yeah, she's just like, look over there. And he's like, oh, cool. There's a carnival. So, Chucky captures De Silva. And Tyler has figured out that Chucky's bad and has stabbed him. But not enough to kill him, because fuck this movie. Anyway, Tyler and Andy get walkie-talkie. And also everybody grabs Andy and thinks that Andy has somehow let down the blue team by stealing their map or something. So Chucky gets on the walkie-talkie. He's like, bring Tyler here or you're all dead. Then he tells the red team with the live ammunition, hey, blue team's coming. You might want to come over here and, shoot them. And I'm like, oh, cool. So they all converge. Chucky got a grenade. Why the fuck does this army school have a grenade? So they give Tyler to Chucky. The blue team shows up, starts firing paintballs. The red team starts shooting them. Which, they only have one shell, right? They should only each have one shell, and the first time someone shoots it, they should be like, whoa, wait a minute. Everybody hang on. Those are shells. But no, just
They keep going.
everyone is firing multiple rounds somehow. Anyway, the mean drill sergeant kid gets shot. And I'm like, oh good, we're shooting children now. Cool. Real cool. But it gets worse. Because then Chucky throws the grenade, and Milhouse decides he's going to jump on top of it to save everybody, rather than, like, pick it up and throw it. He just lays on it, and he lays on it, and he lays on it, and he lays on it, and then it explodes.
Aww.
It's fine, though, because Milhouse is kind of a douchebag. And then the random redheaded girl that was in the movie.
I have no idea what her name is.
I have no idea. She hung out with De Silva a little bit. She comes running over, and she's like, not Milhouse, no! And that's the last we see either of them. And, like, everybody's standing around confused because people got shot. And we just leave them there, and we never see any of them again.
Mm-hmm.
Off to the fair. We're off to the carnival.
Let's go. Well, he's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You think there's a Ferris wheel?
So Tyler runs to the carnival and goes and talks to the security guard there. Also, there's that really weird part where the security guard is yelling at the two people with the boombox.
Uh-huh.
That goes nowhere.
Right, yeah.
He's
it
like,
was
turn
kinda-
that off. And they're like, we're not bothering you. He's like, yes, you are bothering me. And he slaps it. And I'm like, who were they? What was that? It was nothing. So the security guard goes into the tent. Tyler goes in and is trying to explain to him that Charles is trying to play hide the soul. And the security guard, instead of being like, there's a child wandering around, lost, scared, he's like, look what I found out in the woods, and pulls out Chucky.
Right.
So he gets shot, and Tyler and Chucky make their way to a funhouse. Or no, the ride first, right? It's just the ride. They don't go to the funhouse. That's right.
I thought they were in the fun for that. Isn't that
some sort of ride?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know, like an indoor, like, scary ride. Like, it's supposed to be scary,
It's the
right?
scariest thing in the movie.
Well, I know that, but I mean, like, I don't know, because, like, I thought it was a fun house at first, but then
That's
they
what
go
I
in and
thought.
it's like a ride.
Yeah, there's like a cart going around and like things popping out, and there's a guy with a fucking sharp ass metal blade. Boy, I don't see anything going wrong there. Like, this cart is riding towards the Grim Reaper, and instead of having like a plastic,
Right, yeah, he's got a giant
Sith,
blade that just...
this thing is like super sharp, cuts half of Chucky's face off for
Right.
no reason
Oh,
at
well,
all.
good.
Well, there's
but it
no
doesn't
reason
help
for
anything.
it. Yeah. But yeah, like the little animatronics that came out, they were creepy. Nothing else in this movie was
Right,
scary.
it wasn't scary at all.
De Silva gets shot in the leg and she's just done. She's like, I'm out of the movie,
Is
thanks.
that Katherine Heigl?
No, that's in a different
that's
movie.
in part 4.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, she just sits down and then Andy has a pistol that he's carrying her. This is so anticlimactic.
It really is.
Chucky hits Tyler. He hits his head off a plastic rock and is knocked cold. Just out.
But not for very long.
Not for very long. He's like, alright, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. So Chucky starts doing the spell, gets to the end of it, and repeats the same fucking line like 10 times. Like, this spell's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Meanwhile, Andy is at the bottom of this like big mountain where there's a big fan spinning around, and he just starts shooting. And he shoots off Chucky's arm, then he shoots off his hand, then he shoots him in the chest. But of course, Chucky's fine. So then Tyler and him are like hanging over the side of the cliff, and they flip Chucky over the cliff, and he lands in the fan and dies. Except it explodes.
Yeah, because first,
Why?
Andy's like holding Tyler, like, because Tyler was falling down into there, and Chucky's on the back of Andy, like, trying to get to them, and then they stab Chucky and get him. They take his hand off, right?
Both
yeah.
his hands. Yeah, they
Because his
blow his
arm's
arm
already
off
off,
and
so
take
then
his
they
hand
take his
off.
other hand off, and then he can't defend himself anymore, and they throw him down into the fan.
Where
and
he explodes.
Yep.
It, like, chops him up.
Yeah, but also there are explosions. I can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
Why are there explosions?
Is it...
They saw Jaws of the Revenge and thought, I like that ending. I like that.
Is there, like, electrical something in the fan?
I don't know. It keeps running. It doesn't slow down. So, and I have seen Bride of Chucky, but I don't know. I forget how Jennifer Tilly takes all those tiny itty bitty pieces and stitches back together a Chucky.
Oh, so somebody like does that like on purpose? They want Chucky to be.
It's Chucky's ex-girlfriend. She found out what was going on.
You mean Charles Lee Ray ex-girlfriend?
Charles Lee Ray's
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend
Oh,
found out what was
interesting.
going on from Voodoo Joe, and
Voodoo Joe's dead.
before he died. So
Alright.
she's been
So
searching.
she's known this for years.
Yeah, she's been looking for him. She found out because all of this stuff has happened in the past like 4 years. I'm just gonna do a quick run through of the beginning of it. And she's like, I want him back to life because he was super cool. I'm a serial killer. He's a serial killer. Cool. And so she learns all kinds of like black magic. Goes and picks up all the parts, sews him back together. He looks super cool. And then to try and get him to come back to life, she needs a body. So she gets some guy who looks like Marilyn Manson to come over and tries to get Chucky into that body, but he has to explain to her, no, it has to be somebody that, you know.
He like introduces himself to.
Yeah,
like,
so then Katherine Heigl and her boyfriend and John Ritter come in after that.
Oh, that makes sense.
I know, I'm skipping a lot.
It's okay.
It still doesn't make sense. It's a talking doll movie, but compared to these three, it's top notch. But then they just leave again, and people just clean up the fair after that too. They just there's a dude. It focuses on a dude. I'm like, who's this guy? He just starts picking up garbage, and then it fades away from him.
Is he picking up little pieces of Chucky?
I thought he might be. No, just garbage.
All right.
But I mean, they've got to find like Chucky's blood and stuff. Like, where'd all this blood come from? You know?
Nah. The security guard laid there for another 10 years. No one came and found his dead body.
Oh, nobody really seems to care about death in any of these movies.
Not really. I mean, you would think that somebody would find the barber dead, even.
Yeah.
But no. Nope, just Milhouse, and he's dead too.
Like, the kids aren't like, nobody's been threatening to cut my hair lately. Like, what happened?
No, they go in and see him dead, and they're like, is he in here? All right, Lindsay, what'd you give this movie?
I'm gonna say a 2.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely not the best. I mean, I got some enjoyment out of the first two, you know, I like those ones alright, even if they weren't fantastic, but this one, it just really wasn't even enjoyable.
Nothing good. Well, what were the 2 points for if you had to pick out some things that were
Yeah, name
redeeming?
the 2 positive things.
Well, I guess the comedy. It was kind of funny at parts, but not even really that funny.
1 point for being a movie.
I mean, I don't want to
How
give
about
it a 0.
clocking in at under
because
an hour and a
I've
half?
definitely-
How's that?
Yes, I would actually say that. I actually appreciate that these Child's Play movies are not, like, overly long, because, I mean, this one was already too long.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
A 2. Also, because I gave it 2 points. One was for killing the capitalist bastard, and the other one was for killing everyone else I hated, basically. So that's it. They killed the right people. Other than that, this was fucking garbage. Brad Dourif didn't sound like he wanted to even be here as Chucky. He sounded dull. Chucky's teeth, we didn't talk about that. He looked like he ate garbage. What was he eating? Why did they look so shitty? And they closed up on him all the time, and they were dirty and gray and...
Well, after the first movie where he was, like, burned and everything, his teeth were kind of messed up after that, right?
But that doesn't make sense because they made this doll out of new plastic.
Right, yeah. I don't know.
And the guy who wrote this is like, don't say it doesn't make sense, it's a doll movie, shut up!
Well, whose fault is that? Is that like a set designer thing where they're like, just make him look shitty?
I don't know, like, he didn't, that's another thing too. So far this series has reminded me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, in that the first movie, the puppetry was done by Jim Henson, and it looked good. Like, they looked like they could possibly be there. The second one, Jim Henson died in the middle of it, so their mouths don't move right, their makeup's a little off. The third one, some half-ass nut job did it, and their mouths go meh, 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 the whole time.
It was an intern.
Yeah, they couldn't get Splinter to be fully done, so they just stuck him in a window, so he sat with his arms up the whole movie. It was off, and that's what this is. Chucky looks like shit.
Yeah.
I should give it a half a point, because there is a scene where he scuttles underneath a Jeep, and you can see his little feet kicking.
That's funny.
So, but no, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I, again, like, when did Bride of Chucky came out in 98, right? So they let this sit for like 7 years. Good.
Yeah.
I don't know who said I want to do it again, but the guy who made Bride of Chucky made Freddy vs. Jason. So he was good at taking like old, worn out, shitty franchises and kind of giving them new life.
Well, and it's happening again.
They made a new one that they had Mark Hamill do the voice.
And you said that one was good,
That
right?
was very good, yeah. It was more about like, I like to tell people that it was about like...
Wait, Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, he does the voice. He does the voice for Joker and Batman the Animated Series too, and it's really good. So, I like Mark Hamill. I really like Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill's fine. I don't watch cartoons. I'm sorry, I didn't watch animated series.
That's right.
Except for Bob's Burgers.
See? Yeah, you do watch cartoons.
One.
It counts.
I watched one.
I watched 800. Alright, that's it for Child's Play. We're not doing any more. Maybe 10 years from now or something, if the show's still around for some reason. If you want to get a hold of us, facebook.com/horrorcasting. Wait! We did get a comment on one of our videos, and I probably should read it. J2323J.
Is that Jay?
I don't know who that is. Just J2323J says, watch Benny Loves You. So I guess we're going to have to watch Benny Loves You.
I watched the trailer for it, actually.
How does it
when
look?
I saw that comment, and it looks very interesting. It looks comedic and dark.
Okay.
So those two things are my
I haven't even heard of it. Is it a new movie? Is it?
I think it was just in the last year or two.
Oh.
Maybe 2019 or something like that.
Okay. If it's streaming, we'll try to find it for you, dude. So that's how you do it. You ask, and you'll get a decent attempt at it. You won't.
If you communicate with us, we will do whatever you say.
Easy. Also, we're on Twitter at HorrorCastings. We are on Podbean, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and the email is horrorcastings@gmail.com. Do you like Child's Play for some weird reason, you sicko? Tell us why. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why Child's Play 3 is the best one. Cobra liked this one. He's not here. Alright, that's it.
I don't think I should say that.
But you're so good at it.
Yeah, you did a good job. You could do it different every time.
It's not my line.
It is
You think
now.
I should say it?
Yeah, it's your line now.
Okay.